Bro, flexing on the ground. I cracked the grin, I'm just being petty. My ex posted pictures of a new man, so I smashed a friend, I'm just being petty.
Welcome to the podcast. I'm here with your boy C Smooth and Youngster again. I don't know if you saw the revenge story that was out. There was a long line at McDonald's, which I don't understand given the fact that there's COVID-19 out there. McDonald's is probably not the best place to be, but the woman was in line ordering. She wasn't sure what she wanted. The person behind her started beeping. She basically made her order, waved back to the lady to apologize. The lady made her order, and then she went up to the window where you pay, and she paid for both of those orders. That sounds nice, right? Getting a free meal from a lady that you just beeped at sounded great. The lady goes up to get, the first lady goes up who paid to get her meal. She also gets the second lady's meal, dips off. Now this lady has to reorder her meal and wait for it to get ready. That's
what happened?
That's revenge.
COVID has brought pettiness in the United States of America. Everyone is getting petty. I mean, did she eat both meals too? Did she eat both meals? Do you have a picture of her? Can you bring that in so I can see what she looks like?
I wish I had it. They don't have one.
She was just craving. Behind her, she heard that this other lady ordered a Big Mac and 10-piece nuggets, and she was jealous as hell. She was on a diet and just had ordered her salad, and she just craved that Big Mac.
I think what would have been even better is if she got out her car, went to the trash and just dumped it and then drove off. That would have been pettier. That would have been even better thing to do. That's crazy though. Like, I don't know. See, Smooth, would you do something so crazy at the drive-in line?
If it was one of my baby mamas, yeah, I would do something pretty like that.
Actually, we shouldn't even allow you to talk about McDonald's for how you treated McDonald's on a prior episode. You just went ham on them. I got a call from Ronald. He said no more sponsorship deal.
Hey, you know what?
Making us lose money.
It's all good. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for war, Ronald. We can go. Please take it wherever.
So we lost McDonald's. We lost McDonald's. We lost Popeyes. Who else did we lose in the last episode? We lost a lot of key sponsors.
I wasn't fucking with Fruit Loops. I know that.
Hey,
I got on this Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops is it. You know that Apple Jacks. I have a bunch of Apple Jacks at home. The kids won't eat that. It's garbage. They won't even touch it. They don't want it.
This is good. I just had a bowl this morning. Nice and good. I'm all about that boy Toucan Sam too. You know what's kind of funny? So we had a work Zoom like game thing. It was stupid. But ultimately one of the questions was what was the original colors of Toucan Sam's beak? Like where Toucan Sam's beak?
Wasn't it gold?
I don't know why that came.
Orange? I'm thinking like orange and
I don't know. It was like black. It was pink. And there was two other colors that I
thought it was just like a goldish color.
It was probably fruity because there's Toucan, it's Fruit Loops.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, that was pretty crazy. That's probably the second best story from McDonald's. The first one is the officer story. I know a lot of people have heard about this. Officer goes to McDonald's, makes an order. She gets up to the drive-through window, and they don't know what her order is. They ask her again. She says what it is. I guess it takes too long for her liking. They say, "Can you pull up to the side?" I'm sure everybody has had this happen to them where they say, "Can you pull up to the side so we can get your order ready and then we'll bring it out to you?" So from that point, this is where this cut comes from, where she makes a YouTube video.
So I told her, I said, don't bother with the food because right now I'm too nervous to take it.
So basically she got a coffee, but she didn't get the McMuffin she wanted.
What I've done.
And she just completely breaks down.
Anyone. Right now I'm too nervous to take a meal from McDonald's because I can't see it being made. I don't know what's going on with people nowadays, but please give us a break. Please just give us a break. I don't know how much more I can take.
I just gotta say, I don't know why the first thing people do is they go to their cell phones. That's a bad idea. If you're upset, if something happens, the first thing you do is you don't go to your cell phone, you take a breath, you think about it for 10 seconds, and then you consider whether that video makes sense to make or not. Especially when you're crying about an Egg McMuffin. I get it. I understand it.
Yeah, she looks hungry.
She said she had been working 12. She said she had been working 12 hours, and I understand the frustration, but at the end of the day, it's an Egg McMuffin.
She was hungry. She just worked 12 hours overnight shift. She's hungry, wants her Egg McMuffin, and you got these crusty little McDonald's workers messing with her food. I mean, that's not right.
Hey, you know what? You hear that? Yo,
What's
youngster,
that?
you hear that? Young, you hear that?
What?
That's me. That's me playing sympathy music on the world's smallest violin. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
I agree.
I think we've all pretty much can vent our frustrations with McDonald's. I don't know. I'd be offended if I was a police officer and I saw that. I'm like, wow. Like people would think you're soft. I don't know. That's just that.
I just don't think it's worth it. It's just not worth it. Let's just get to it. It's not worth it.
You remember the Leave Britney Alone guy? Or
Who's that?
Like, I don't know if you remember the viral video. This was a long time ago when people were poking fun of Britney Spears when she shaved her head and all this shit. And there was a viral video. Leave Britney alone. This guy's just crying and pleading. It's just, it kind of just reminds me of that. Like it almost doesn't even seem real. Like you're crying over not getting an Egg McMuffin. Like, come on, show of hands. One of us, have we ever got anything right? I'm sorry. I'll take it back. Has anybody not getting anything right on their first order at McDonald's? Has that ever not happened to you? Oh, there we go.
Talked about professionalism, and said if Brittany was a professional, she would have pulled it off no matter what.
Substitute that with McDonald's.
That's very like it's crazy. People out here are just wild, and I don't even know.
But was it really about the McDonald's? Was it about the food, or was it more symbolic and about how now police officers can't trust or don't have trust for people who are making food for them, who are doing stuff for them, because the nation has lost trust in police officers?
Of course, but I mean, we're still talking about an Egg McMuffin.
I mean, everybody's experienced this. I'm sure everybody has experienced not getting their order right at McDonald's. That's what she's crying about right now.
My order's always straight. McDonald's always hooks it up.
Not getting their like she's sympathizing for everybody at this point. By the way, fuck you, Ronald McDonald.
Anyway, McDonald's always hook it up. Honestly, sometimes I get 5 nuggets in the 4-piece. You know what I'm saying? McDonald's hooks it up on a regular basis. So McDonald's love what you're doing, and as McDonald's says, I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Have you guys checked out the new sandwich that's taking over the nation? Have you guys heard about it?
Not messing with no fast.
Are you talking about Popeyes again? Yeah.
It's a new one right here. It's called the Coronaburger.
The what?
So will it help you get Corona?
So they're calling it the Coronaburger, and it was created out in Hanoi, Vietnam. They make it out of green tea. They roll it, they turn it into a bun, and they put on little heads to it to make it look like the prototype of coronavirus, eating a Corona burger. So I don't know if you guys have seen that yet, but that's crazy, the Corona burger.
I think it's pretty cool. I would feel offended if I, was affected by the coronavirus and you saw that, but I think that's a pretty cool concept. I like it. Did
you guys hear the slogan?
I don't know about what.
Their slogan, the slogan is "Eat it before you beat it." Eat it. It's eat it before you beat it. And I was thinking about that. And I said, where did they get that slogan from? I've heard that slogan before. Eat it before you beat it. And I just think that's crazy. And I'm not even joking. Isn't that the slogan? Look it up.
That should be the slogan.
That could be misconstrued.
It might be already copyrighted. Yeah, that's wild.
So
yeah, the Corona burger is definitely
with a Corona thing. Extra. You're Corona'd out right there. Eat it and drink it.
Maybe they're selling fish tea on the side too.
I can't.
So you can have your Coronaburger with a side of fish tea.
One thing I was thinking about today is me and C Smooth were actually talking about it earlier. I don't know if you guys saw that. So you know that the wet markets in China are still open. And what is it? National Dog Day? What is it, C Smooth?
National. You know what? I got to fact check. I think it's National. Oh Lord, I gotta.
I'm pretty sure it's National. it's National Dog Day, and there's been like videos going around of what it is where
dog meat
they have just
dog meat festival. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's basically a dog meat eating festival. Did we not learn from the bats? Allegedly, but did we not learn? I just feel like it's not a great idea, youngsters. It's not.
Have you ever heard about that? Have you ever seen it though? The National Dog Eating Day. So it's one day a year, and I got some history on this. I've seen the videos for years. I've been following this festival. It's a crazy festival. It's legal once a year for this culture, not culture. This I think it's just in one city. So this city to go ahead, they capture dogs, they sell the dogs, and they go ahead and cook them up and they eat them. And I think it's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, but these people go crazy over it. It's like Popeye's coming out with that chicken sandwich again. The lines are long, and people are craving that dog meat. I'm telling you. And, I feel bad for, animal lovers across the world, people in PETA. I have no idea how they haven't shut this down yet. But people are loving this. They can't get enough of that dog meat.
Hey,
people are just wild now.
I mean, like to us and anybody, any Western world colonization is gonna look at this like it's crazy. But I mean, it's their culture. I can't really, come up and like push for a ban on something like that. But I do think it's kind of disgusting. I'm sorry. Dog meat. I mean, I don't know. Like dog meat.
What do you think are in your chicken nuggets? That is Fido. And you eat that and dip it in your honey mustard sauce like a sick savage.
I love Lassie. I'm not thinking about eating Lassie. Fuck that. I love Lassie. Lassie was my dude. I love Homeward Bound. I'm not eating these dogs, man. I'm sorry.
But if he's breaded and fried, you'll get down with it.
You guys ever have you guys ever had fried alligator?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Wow.
Fried alligator is good. You never know.
Dogs,
about Fido.
I mean, gator is good. No joke.
But gator's good. And gators just swim around the swamp or whatever.
I mean, think about it this way. If you're eating lamb, a little baby lamb, how far away are you from eating a little baby dog? I'm telling you, they're very similar in stature.
You got to look into the diet of what the dog is actually eating too. Like if you look at some of these dogs over there, like they're in some pretty awful conditions. They're probably drinking dirty ass water, eating rubber tires, whatever the hell they're eating, whatever they're feeding them, and then you're putting that back into your body. You're eating the damn dog. So I mean,
this is probably a bad time to tell you guys that we just got a sponsorship deal with PETA.
With PETA.
PETA just gave us a deal. So,
I don't think we said we condone it. We just said it exists. We love you, McDonald's. It's okay. We know what's in the chicken nuggets, but we won't tell nobody. Just keep the sponsorship rolling.
I'm going to cut this out the podcast.
Yeah, cut that out.
Hey, but Mike Vick really is smiling somewhere. Probably talking to Peter, but like, I wasn't that bad. Look at like,
hold on. You got too far down. No. You took this joke too far down. I am not gonna engage in that Michael Vick conversation. I am done. I'm done with that.
Damn dogs. I'll say that.
He was murdering dogs. He was murdering dogs.
He wasn't eating them, man.
He was electrocuting them and all sorts of stuff. Like he wasn't even treating them humane.
Yeah, we can't get down with what Mike Vick did. That's not right what he did. He came back and
Mike Vick did. I'm saying he didn't eat no dogs. That's all I'm saying. Like he was not putting sauce on no dogs. The difference between him is basically he was electrocuting them, he was beating them. Here in China, they're treating them humane. Cage-free dogs, everything. They're able to roam around.
So, see, Smooth, are you going to compare Jeffrey Dahmer with what he did with what Aaron Hernandez did? You're going to compare the two and say it's the same thing?
No.
It's not. It's not the same. I can't tell you which one is worse, or I can tell you which one is worse. Eating a person is probably worse.
I know this. Mike Vick didn't put no live dog in a frying pan and try to cook the damn dog and eat him. Like that's probably the most inhumane thing you can do. Like, shit, at least wait till the motherfucker, at least kill the motherfucker. Like Mike Vick would be humane enough to be like, let me kill him.
Maybe it wasn't a fried pan, but he was electrocuting them in water. So it's kind of like when you drop a lobster in water, hot water. Similar. He's doing the same damn thing. Bro,
yeah, he was doing the old. He got them all sous vide. You ever see that sous vide process?
Yeah,
got them all bagged up, heat it up, and keep the meat nice and moist and all that. Yeah,
wild.
Heard a chicken leg. You ever see the dog?
The craziest thing is that this is probably not even the craziest story that came out in the last couple of weeks. Have you guys heard about eBay? I don't even know that we should say that.
I heard about eBay.
Yeah, so that 4-letter company that was out there, the FBI and the Department of Justice just came out and said they were charged with cyber stalking. So the story goes, it was 6 employees who got arrested, as high as people who were senior directors of safety and security, directors of global resiliency, managers of global intelligence. So all high titles here. There was a newsletter out there from a couple who lives in Natick, Massachusetts, not too far away from us, who had a newsletter that would criticize eBay and criticize other companies such as Amazon for what they were doing. And eBay decided that they had enough and had these, well, not eBay the company, the employees decided they had enough and decided they were going to cyber stalk them. So the first thing they decided they were going to do is they were going to deliver to the victims' homes a preserved beetle pig. So basically a pig that was in the stomach of their mother, a bloody pig Halloween mask, a funeral wreath, books on surviving the loss of a spouse, and they sent pornography, but they actually sent it to the neighbor with their name on it. So they decided that it was going to be a 3-part phase where they're going to continue to escalate. The second part was they started sending them private Twitter messages and public tweets threatening them and saying they were going to out them. And where they got caught was when they tried to go into the third phase. Their third phase was they're going to fly all the way from California, where they're headquartered, to go to Natick, Massachusetts, break into their garage allegedly, and put a GPS under their car. So when they tried to do that, they got caught. The Natick couple ended up reporting it to the police, and the police figured out the connection that was there and figured out it was employees from eBay who were upset about the bad reviews. I just think this is probably the craziest story in America that's not getting any publicity right now. Imagine what some of these corporations could be doing anytime you give them a bad review or you give them some type of criticism.
I think this is just the exception. I think they were just dealing with some maniacal execs over at eBay. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over at eBay, how these guys got hired, but this is the most maniacal shit. This is like Silicon Valley meets like Freddy Krueger. This is like a horror movie from Silicon Valley. I've never heard of no crazy shit. To go to the lengths that they were going to go, they actually were going to take time out of their day. First of all, they're taking time out of their day to even harass these people. They were gonna take a fucking plane and fly to. Like, are you fucking kidding? Like,
they did. They weren't going to. They took the plane.
They were there.
Oh, they took the. They were there.
Yeah.
They were there. They tried to go into her garage. Basically, is how they got caught. And they actually had documents set up where they were going to pretend like they were out there for a whole completely different reason. So they had a whole plan on if they got caught, what they were going to do. Clearly, it didn't work out for them. But yeah, it's the craziest story in America that's not getting any publicity. Imagine what these major corporations can do to you.
Well, when a corporation starts handing out pornography to the neighborhood, it's always a good thing, I think, at the end of the day. So eBay knew how to bury this story, and it's because they gave pornography out to the whole Natick community. Everyone in Natick got Hustler, they got Playboy, they got everything. They were happy. So they're straight in Natick. They're happy as hell right now. Yeah, wow. So I'm not worried at all.
I just think it's the craziest story. It makes me think of, like, I don't know if you guys have been following the Joe Rogan stuff. They're trying to cancel Joe Rogan again. for some of the comments that he made on previous podcasts that he's done. He had a podcast with Joey Diaz, who's like a comedian, talked about how in order to get stage time, if you were a woman, you had to give him a blowjob or whatever. He was laughing, Joe Rogan, in the background, so they're trying to cancel him for that. And there's other people that they've tried to cancel. Have you seen the Jimmy Kimmel with blackface? I want to say they try to cancel him. They try to cancel, well, the Chris D'Elia stuff. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Oh, go ahead.
Tina Fey was part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So these are all people who kind of have a connection to Joe Rogan, and this wraps all the way back up to Joe Rogan's leaving YouTube to go to Spotify. So some of the theories out there are, what if a corporation, not necessarily YouTube, but a corporation who is sponsoring him, that are now losing the chance to advertise with him, is deciding that they want to come get him and come get his friends too. And all these cancel moves are one after the other, all people who are connected to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I think they should cancel. He should get canceled. Tina Fey should get canceled. Cancel all of those people right there. One by one, cancel them all. In my opinion, in my opinion, you did do something. I mean, and you got to think about things before you do them and before you say them. 20 years from now, it can come get you. And it's tough to see it from a perspective as, the nation can change so much in the next 30 years. And something I said today, as far as like eating dogs, that could take me down for the rest of my life, right? So you got to be careful of, how you say things and who you say them to, or they'll come back to haunt you.
I think the tough one is, I can't remember if it was Jimmy Kimmel or Fallon, whoever it was. Basically, one of the people who did blackface was actually making fun of Chris Rock, who was on stage with them. So it's kind of a weird situation where you have this comedy that was out there that people thought was acceptable at the time, and now it's coming back to really bite you, especially when you, in that specific situation where you have another black comedian who's there and it's supposed to be all jokes. It's really tough because now you're facing a situation where you could be canceled for something that was on national TV. So we're talking about NBC. We're talking about some of these big corporations.
But that's my thing is, if you're going to go that far, don't go after the person that's the artist. Because you got to remember, like, these guys have writers. Like, some people write for them. Like, not all of these ideas are originally from them. They're getting paid. Like, they're paid to act, to be a radio host or whatever. So some of this stuff, could be more directed to the bigger corporations anyway. I mean, they're kind of like, they're in a sense, it's almost like doing a job. Like it's almost like an actor being in a role they don't really want to do, but they got to put food on their plate. I'm not going to go to that extent with this, but I think people are kind of just looking back and trying to point fingers on things where, you got to understand things were at a different time. Like Richard Pryor's dead. Like, his jokes were pretty offensive back in the day too. Like we're going to chastise him. Like, he's he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest comedian ever. But
you don't even have to go to Richard Pryor. You can go to Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy. Like, what?
Yeah, like, some of his lines. Well, not some of his lines. He some of lines it are not acceptable nowadays. There's lines about gay people that are 100% not acceptable. There's other lines that he has in his comedy. You'll see the crowd laughing, whooping it up. And now you're in a situation where you could get canceled for those things. But you see, like, with someone like Eddie Murphy, he's such a legend in comedy that he can't really be canceled, even if they try to cancel him. There's certain people who are cancel proof and there's certain people who are not. That's the crazy thing about comedy.
I just think, looking at, like, digging all the way back, I don't know too much about the Joe Rogan thing, but what was it? He was probably...
So he was talking to a comedian who said in order for a female comedian to get stage time, they had to give him a blowjob. He's laughing about it. They're both laughing about it. Obviously, it's a joke that nobody would accept today, and I don't necessarily think they should have accepted it back then, but it was something that was available to people for a long time. It's been out in the universe for like 8 years.
I just don't think...
But this all kind of goes back to what I'm saying about eBay. Maybe it's a corporation who's trying to take him down and his friends. I brought up the Chris D'Elia situation, which is a little bit different. There's a Twitter profile called She Rates Dogs or something like that. And they put out a bunch of tweets that it was sending to... It
all goes back to dogs at the end of the day.
That's really what it comes down to. It's all interconnected. It all comes back to dogs.
Chasing our tails here.
Dogs. Mike Vick, Peter, dogs.
Yeah. But with the Chris D'Elia situation, like they put out tweets and stuff that he was sending to girls who are underage. So that's a little different. Like that's not cancel culture or anything like that. That's doing the things that he's doing. But it goes back to the fact that all these people are circled around Rogan, and whether it's a situation where they're trying to incorporate.
But even with the Joe Rogan thing, like if I'm getting if I'm getting an idea of it, he laughed at an insensitive joke. And I just don't think that should be enough to cancel the motherfucker. Like it's not like it was insensitive, like it was very insensitive, grotesque. But to cancel a guy, like he's got his right to his opinion as well. Just like we heard Rush Limbaugh's opinion for years. So it's like I just think like just because he laughed at a joke, I just think like I think the agenda now went from equality to hey, you're saying something I don't like, you're siding with something I don't like, I want you to disappear. And I think
it's ultimately saying like he was condoning it and he shouldn't condone it. At the end of the day, Joe Rogan is cancel proof. Anyone who has a podcast that does over like 2 to 3, 4 million views, you're not going to be canceled because there's always going to be a corporation who's willing to give you funds or money to continue doing what you're doing. But it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Is it possible that these corporations are a lot more active in your life than you think they are?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is it possible that they're doing a lot more that they shouldn't be doing? So eBay kind of makes me think about what are these other corporations doing to try to shut up people who are giving them bad reviews.
They're probably just paying them off. $10,000 here and there is going to pay off most people. They'll take the money, they'll run with it because they don't think that they can get anything more out of it. $10,000 goes a long way. It takes care of all your problems.
Would have been a boss.
You damn right about that.
You know what would have been a boss move in the case with eBay? Why did eBay just buy out the newsletter? Here's 40 grand, go away. Here's 50 grand, go away. Like they could have paid them off.
That's very true.
Like Walmart just really bought out all the competitors. Just pull a Walmart, buy out this little company that's talking about
it may cost a little more money to send a message, or I mean you're not really, I mean it costs less money and it's more time consuming to do what those execs did. So I mean yeah, I agree. The only problem is you might run into a situation if people get smart, they might try to boost up a newsletter or blog, whatever, just to target you so you can pay them off. Like that's something I would do, honestly. Like I'm like, I'm gonna give you bad reviews, you won't pay me, all right, cool.
Take a look at some of the ages on those executives, and that's one thing I was looking at that article. You got some 26-year-old ones in there, 30-something-year-olds in there. It's all part of that generation, who at the end of the day, they want what they want, right? They want to get away with everything, and they don't want to work hard. They just want to get it.
They need something better to do. That's what they need. They need something better to fucking do. Like, I'm gonna just be honest.
They were watching the show How to Get Away with Murder, and they decided that they could get away with cyberstock. And I'm like, come on. But there's a 51-year-old, there's a 48-year-old, there's a 45-year-old. So there's some old people doing crazy things that they should know better about. Anything else y'all want to get into?
I'm out.
All right.
I done ran the bands up, ain't nothing they can tell me. I was being patient, I was being petty.